Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Movies with GRose. This is episode 2 of 5 of the October horror bracket. Welcome back.
Thank you. I'm so excited.
Um, for those of you that don't know, this will be a 5-part series. If you don't want to watch the entire thing and want to skip around after the fact, there will be chapter timestamps, so you can just skip to whatever movie. We are recording this live. Feel free to join us live for the next episode, and please feel free to like and subscribe. Let me adjust the. Okay. Mike said Poppy Chules, and Carlos said something I will not repeat. Um, is your mic still functioning?
I think so. Is
Cool.
it?
Yeah, it is. Last week we left off on The Visit, and we have a lot of films to discuss since then. That was one half of the bracket that we were finishing, and after that we had to watch The Fog, not the OG one that people probably enjoy by John
Oh,
Carpenter. We watched the early 2000s remake of The Fog. Now, I do want to structure our conversation a little bit differently this
okay.
week. I think it would be cool if we kind of approached it like category by category.
Okay.
So, like, you talk about your entertainment score, and then I talk about my
Okay.
entertainment
Instead
score.
of me just doing all of mine
I
first.
think that would be
Yeah, I'm
kind of
down.
fun. So let me go ahead and pull up first the ranking. Bracket. And let me pull up The Fog. What year was it even released in?
I think
2005?
2005 was,
All right.
yeah.
Natalie, if you would.
Why'd it cut out?
Hello?
Hello.
I think we're back. We're back. Thank you guys for letting us know.
Yeah.
All right, restart. Natalie.
Yeah. So I've had The Fog. I gave it a 1 out of 4 for entertainment because I thought it had fine parts, but the aesthetic was like really the best. He heard my sneeze. Because didn't I? Um, but like fell asleep through like half the middle. It was pretty boring. Couldn't tell you what really happened.
Yeah.
I thought that the ghost looked really cool. I liked how like they were transparent and they had scary faces. That was great. And it was just definitely an early 2000s horror movie. Nothing special.
So entertainment wise, just entertainment wise, where would you place this?
Like score? I gave it a 1 out of 4.
Yeah, this movie was super boring.
Yeah.
And that's the worst thing it had going for it. I've said it before, I'll say it again. The worst thing a bad movie can be is boring. Um, yeah, like you said, I really want to give this movie points for like the setting because as I was watching it, I even turned to you and said like it's a really cute idea to have a horror movie based in like this little
Yeah, I
fisherman
loved
town.
it. Mhm.
Um, it's kind of funny because I think that's what they're going for the new season of Dexter, kind of that like little
Oh, that
fisher
sleepy
sleepy
Cape
fisher town.
Cod vibe.
Yeah, exactly. Um, but even though it had that going for it, I gave this movie a 0 out of 4 for entertainment, the
Oh
lowest that it can go. It's the
no.
lowest entertainment score I've given so far. This movie was so fucking boring.
It was.
Um, it just nothing interesting happened the entire time. Even the plot was a little disconnected. They do that thing where like they don't really tell you anything until the end, which is fun for I guess the end, but it makes the whole rest of the movie pretty uneventful.
But they didn't even tell you anything really. Like they
I
were
mean,
just
they
like,
do.
I mean,
It's just we were
kind of,
so checked out by that point that we really didn't
but it
care.
was just so strange. It really just had, I don't
Yeah.
know, it just ended too.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, plus you can
very
get
weird.
there's no twist
No,
really. I mean, you get like we
they
guessed the
feed it to
ending
you.
like halfway in.
Yeah.
You know, if you have half a brain, you know what's going to happen. So, it's a shame because Neither of us have seen the original, but the original Fog was made by John Carpenter, who also did The Thing. He did the OG Halloween, and this is one of his more, liked movies. It sits around a 6 out of 10. So this movie people kind of liked. They remade it, and it just turned into this. I mean, as you can see from the distribution here, people
Yeah.
just despise this movie.
Well,
So
because I think the fog didn't, which is I'll lead into my scare slash kills.
yeah, go ahead,
I
go.
only gave it a 1 out of 4
Okay.
because I felt like the fog should have been the scary part, but they didn't even like really talk about the fog. Like the fog didn't really do a lot except for like the boat scene. That was pretty much it. But I gave it that 1 because the old lady death was phenomenal. She just disintegrated. And then the weather guy death was like rad as hell.
Yeah,
So
yeah. There's
they got
two.
a 1 for me.
There's two great kills in this movie. Really, there's one great kill in the movie. It happens about halfway through, maybe a little bit more, where like this guy is just like burned alive in just such a sudden and graphic way. And I would say like the kind of the idea of the fog creeping in is kind of scary. So I
But they
kind of
didn't play on that though.
no, they didn't. I mean, they talk about it like here and there, and the idea is kind of that anywhere that fog or mist could go, it can
Yeah.
get to you, which is a scary idea, but they don't use it enough. Mike said two Bobby Shmurdas. Yeah, there's two good kills.
Yeah, but then but
Um,
it feels hardly worth the wait. Like,
no,
don't watch the movie
no.
expecting those 2 kills to be great.
So
'Cause-
I gave kill slash scares a 1 out of 4. Is that
okay,
what you gave
yeah,
it?
mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're on the same page there. And then writing slash acting. I mean, if you want to go ahead, I don't think there's much to
I
say.
gave it a 0. I just said it
0,
wasn't good.
really?
I really did, and it's maybe the worst horror movie ending I've ever seen. Like, I fucking hated it. It wasn't worth watching. It was not good. I just put no thanks, and it's sad because I don't feel like anybody acted poorly. I thought they were all fine actors. It just was fucking boring. Didn't care.
Yeah, I think I would. I think I'd give it a 1 out of 2 in terms of
That's
just being
50%.
I mean, but I'm just saying like that's average for like writing and acting. I don't know. Maybe that's too high, but I mean, I, my total score is a 2 out of 10. What's yours? Same.
Yeah, 2 out of 10.
So I mean, it's not like I really.
Yeah, bad movie.
No thanks, Carlos says.
That's because I said no thanks.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
No thanks.
there's no reason to watch
Gotta
this.
hit him with a no thanks.
However, this brings us to a really interesting conversation because this movie
The
is up against
Visit,
The Visit,
which,
which is a notoriously terrible movie.
uh-huh.
And in my book here, I don't remember what you gave The Visit, but for me, they're technically tied on the criteria that we rate them at.
I gave The Visit a 1, so technically The Fog beat The Visit in my book.
Okay, so I'm gonna allow you to do what you want here, but for me, so for a tie,
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely gonna give it to The Visit just for
At
I
least
think
I
it's
can watch The Visit.
that's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
the first half of The Visit especially is at least watchable,
Yeah.
and so I'm definitely giving it to The Visit. You want to give it to
I mean, I have to give it to The Fog.
I mean, is there anything we can do here?
I mean, I don't want to give it to The Fog. I think that The Visit deserves it because I've seen The Visit like 8 times and I never ever in my life want to watch The Fog again.
So we're at a tie. This is
Mhm.
the first time we've hit a tie. We can do one of two things. We can either do a coin toss,
Okay.
okay?
Okay.
Or we can just try to come to a consensus through discussion. Because it is our
Well, we
horror
kind of
bracket.
just did.
So do you want to just give it to The Visit?
I think we should
Because
just
we
give
kind
it
of
to The Visit.
agree that even though The Fog might be a more competent movie,
Mhm.
I would never watch it again.
No. It makes me physically sick to let The Fog move on.
Carlos says Visit over The Fog.
Yeah,
we both
we agree.
The Visit is at least watchable.
Yeah.
Right?
So The Visit wins.
Okay, so let's go ahead, pull up The Visit, and The Visit wins this bracket.
That is so sad, honestly. Oh, but we finished that one too, so that's exciting.
Yeah, we'll be
We'll get to
talking
that,
about this soon. So, up next for us, we started a new bracket with Orphan, which is a movie that I hadn't seen since it first came out.
Same.
I might have seen it in theaters, and I remembered like kind of enjoying it
You would have been
and
in 8th
kind of being
grade. You went to a horror
confused
movie in
about
8th
it.
grade. It would have been
Maybe.
seventh grade. That's crazy.
I feel like I saw this movie in theaters because I definitely didn't. I The only other way I would have seen it is if I like rented it from Family Video, and I don't think I did. Carlos
The
is still on
diaper
the
on the
visit
face.
talking about the diaper. Yeah, sure, we'll give it to the visit for the diaper. Spoiler alert, I don't think the visit's making it all that much farther in the
I don't
bracket,
think so
so
either, but that's
doesn't
okay.
really matter. So yeah, the Orphan, I remembered liking it. I don't remember much about it. Natalie,
Let me
do you want
jump
to
in.
take it away?
Yeah. So honestly, my full bracket, or my full review thing, like my final score surprised me with the Orphan, but we'll get to that.
By the way, it's just Orphan. Because on the
It is
bracket
just
I put
Orphan
the Orphan, it's just Orphan.
because that one movie is
There's a lot
the
of those. I
Orphan.
was going through the bracket. I did this a couple times.
Yeah.
Carlos says he's gonna watch this tonight.
The
So
Orphan or Orphan?
Orphan, sorry, Orphan 2009.
It's good. I like it, but anyway, for entertainment, I only gave it a 2 out of 4. I said I really wanted to like it, but it's too long. It's 2 hours. That's too long for a horror movie, and that really loses a point in my book. And I put nothing really stands out as excellent either. There's no moment where I'm like, oh, this moment was huge, you know? I just said it's just kind of good the whole way. I do not like the child sexy stuff. Not a fan. Don't like it. Don't like teen sex.
The
Don't like
whole
child sex.
sexual theme is a little confusing.
I get that she's 30, but the actress is like 9, and I hate that. So that's just it. Just lost 2 points for too long and child sex. Don't like it.
So what did you give it?
I gave it a 2 out of 4. You're not listening. I tell my scores first.
Okay, I'm listening to the other things that you're saying.
I start with my score and then I talk.
All right. Well, that's not the natural.
I'm sorry. I'll talk and then give the score. I didn't mean to disrupt.
Sorry, I'm a little sick. Um, I also gave it a 2 out of 4. So
Yeah, for same reasons.
yeah, I mean, listen, it's a pretty entertaining movie. It's on the cusp of a 3 out of 4 in entertainment, honestly,
Definitely.
because it's a great premise and it does it well. I mean, it's got a cool little setting. The house is fun. The little set pieces are fun. The interactions that Orphan has with thanks, Carlos.
It's
Carlos
true.
says Tyler never listens in all caps. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like all of the scenes are competently made
Yeah,
and it's a
I mean
good
it's a
premise.
good movie.
Yeah, it's got like a decent ending. But yeah, like you said, it's probably 20 to 30 minutes too long.
It is.
And I'm completely fine with a horror movie being 2 hours.
I'm not.
But the but the problem is that this movie does everything that it needs to do within that 130, and then it kind of just like goes on for another 30 minutes. Like they definitely could have cut it down.
Oh yeah.
Um, but I mean, beyond that, yeah, like the sexual stuff is confusing. Like, not even, it's just weird.
I hate it.
And I don't know. It's odd because it seems like maybe they wanted that to be. I can't tell how, like it's a pretty central theme to the movie, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, like the father's like infidelity and like the relationship stuff there,
Yeah.
but they also don't go like 100% with it for better or for worse. Like it's like a half measure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because
Like
I
it's a
think they
central
knew that it
theme,
would
but
like really freak people out. And I
because
will
it is
say,
a child actor in the movie.
well, I guess I'll say it later because it's more like production. But anyway. But yeah,
Um,
which she is gonna be. They're doing a prequel, and she's playing the same character, which I think is so cool. I really like that.
Weird, right? Yeah, because she's much older now,
Right,
obviously.
but in the
Um,
prequel, she's 30, so she will be. So
so that'll be interesting.
I'm excited.
Maybe she'll walk around on her knees or something, but. So yeah, we both gave it 2 out of 4 for entertainment. Do you want to go ahead and talk about
I will.
scares slash kills?
I only gave it a 1 out of 4 because I don't really think there's anything too scary. There's probably like 2 scenes that are like more startling, but there's not really any kills. There's not really anything incredible. I said I guess if you think about a child being like that, it is kind of scary and like well, I don't know, I don't want to spoil it. But like that kind of stuff. I mean, I guess like in hindsight it would be scary, but it doesn't play off as like it's not scary. So I only gave it a 1 out of 4.
It's crazy how in sync we are today. Yeah, I also gave it a 1 out of 4,
Yeah.
and I pretty much just gave it a 1 out of 4 on premise alone
Same.
because
Yeah.
yeah, it's a scary premise of a 30-year-old pretending to be a child. I mean, that's a scary
It is.
idea,
It's scary, but
but
it's like it's more like weird. The movie's more weird than scary.
yeah, the movie is more of a thriller.
Yeah.
It's not really a horror movie. I mean, yes, there are some kills, especially towards the end, but thrillers can do that too.
Yeah.
A thriller can have kills. Um, but yeah, like you said, nothing is scary about
No,
this movie. It's a scary idea and it's a thrilling movie, but this movie is much more placed within that thriller category than a horror. It's
definitely.
not scary in any way. It's not going to keep you up at night. And it, maybe that's because it's not paranormal. You know what I mean? Like, unless you have a little kid in your house that you just adopted, you're probably not, this movie's not keeping you up at night,
No.
right?
Yeah,
Because it's not going to apply to you in any way.
no.
So, um,
But so like I'm glad it was on the list because I'm happy to rewatch it and like see
I'm
it.
very happy to
But I think it
revisit it.
also could have been left off this list easily.
Yeah, 100%. It was fun for us to throw this on because it
Yeah.
was a film that we both have seen and it's in the zeitgeist enough. Like people know of this movie.
Yeah.
Everyone kind of, at least in our age group, like knows this movie and it
Yeah.
was a huge thing when it came out.
I
Like
know.
it
I
was
feel like
very
everybody has
popular.
seen it, because it was like such a
Yeah.
perfect thing.
And it's interesting rewatching it too because when I first saw it when it came out, and I was in early high school, late middle school, whatever, that sexual stuff like kind of parts of it went over my head. Like obviously I understood when she tried to like get with him, but it
Yeah.
didn't never fully registered because
Sure.
it is a weird concept that they throw in here.
Yeah.
Um,
So I'll go into production
no,
now.
no, writing and acting.
That's what I mean. I mean, when I say production, I mean writing and acting.
Go ahead.
I gave it a 1 out of 2, but just sitting here thinking I might want to bump it up because I thought that like the husband and wife character was written perfectly. I really felt like they were married and I really felt like the things they were dealing with and how they reacted to each other were real. I felt like I don't know, I really liked that. And I think Lorraine Warren, I don't know her actual name. I think she's fantastic. Is she Famingo? Vera Farmiga? Love
Yeah, her
her.
name
I think
is
she's great.
Vera Farmiga.
I think she's great, and I really like her acting. And I thought it was written well. I thought she was a very believable orphan. So I might bump it up to 2, but I don't know because it was really boring in the middle. But I think that's because it was too long.
Carlos brings up a good point.
What's he say? They fucked in the kitchen. Yeah, they did. I remember that. I do. But they didn't really. They probably just got the tip in, and then there she was.
Yeah, I literally bumped it up as you were talking
You did bump it to a 2?
yeah, I'd give
Okay.
it the 2
Then I'll give
just
it a 2 too.
because
I think it deserves it.
yeah, I mean, because like you said, the acting is good. The
Mhm.
writing is solid. I mean, like you said, they deal with some adult themes and they do it pretty
They
tactfully.
do. Like even when the parents are like mad at each other, they always come back to each other. And I think that a real married couple with 3 kids would do that. I feel like that's real.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's right on the cusp between a 1 and a 2 because I don't think it is perfect acting, and that's kind of what we're saying here. But it doesn't really impact my score or the bracket to give it a 1 or a 2,
Me
so
either.
I'll go
Yeah.
ahead and give it the 2 out of 2,
Mhm.
which brings my total score to a 5 out of
That's what
10.
mine is. We have the same score.
So
Yeah.
we both gave this a 5 out of 10. Miguel hopped in to say, oh no, not Miguel. Sorry, that's Nerm.
Oop.
Nerm hopped in to say poop. So thank you,
Thanks for
Nerm.
joining, Nam.
Great way to top off Orphan.
Yeah, we
Um,
gotta go a little bit quicker. We've only been through 2 in 20 minutes.
that's a good
You
pace.
think?
10 minutes of
10
movie
minutes
is
of
about
movie?
as good as it's gonna get, babe.
All right.
So,
Well, our next movie is Sinister, which
yeah. Do you want to just
I
give a
do
little
because this
prelude
is
to
my
Sinister before we
fucking
hop into
favorite
this?
movie in the whole wide world. I love this movie. I love Ethan Hawke, and that's the only reason I watched this movie the first time was because Ethan Hawke was in it, and it turned into my favorite horror movie ever. I've probably seen it 15, 20 times. It's what I throw on. It's my comfort movie. I'm obsessed with it.
Sinister is awesome,
Yeah,
and
it's great.
I really hadn't seen it until I was like in in college. I don't think I had seen it.
That's crazy. Because when
Yeah.
did it come out? Can you click it?
Give me one moment while I switch
Doing.
it over. Sinister came out in
15 times is not
2012.
too much. This is like seriously my favorite. Oh, I hit the microphone. That was probably loud. I'm sorry. I love it. So that would have been my sophomore year of high school.
Okay.
Obsessed. Loved it. Loved it so much. Anyway, for entertainment, I gave it a 3 out of 4. Why did I say not 1? Oh, I gave it a -1 because it's just shy of 2 hours, and 2 hours is too long for a horror movie. I will stand by that till I die. An hour and a half. That's all you need for a horror
That's
movie.
kind of okay, but if you like, did you like the movie all the way through?
No, there's that one middle part where he talks to the professor. Don't fucking care.
But that's the only lore you get in the whole movie.
Well, why can't the bad acting cop give that to me?
Cause he's a bad acting cop.
So he can give me the lore. I hate it. I hate when they sit and tell you this is the scary thing that you're scared of. Don't do it. Bye. So they lost a point. Ethan
Anything
Hawke
else
is
to say
great.
about entertainment?
I said Ethan Hawke is great,
Yeah,
and there's a good twist.
yeah.
But yeah, I just talk about how it's too long.
I mean, okay,
It's too long.
let me just say,
Did you give this a perfect score?
no, I didn't. Close to. Entertainment, I'd give the 3 out of 4 just because, for a different reason. This movie, the only thing this movie does wrong is it spends a little bit too much time on the whole like I'm a bad father
Yes, I would
thing,
agree too.
and it works for a while in the movie. But there's a part, especially it's like 3/4 of the way in, where there's this entire scene where it's just like the husband and wife arguing in their bedroom, and the whole scene could have been cut and had no impact on the movie because it just gets really repetitive. Like they establish, like I like the idea of like he's deteriorating mentally,
Mhm.
and he's getting worse,
And he's
and his
turning back. He's like an alcoholic toward the
yeah,
end.
like and the wife is picking up on this and like I like that idea, but then it hits this point where it kind of like that idea peaks like 3/4 of the way in, and then they just keep repeating it
They
until
do.
the movie ends.
Well, they also like because they're in the house, which is not a spoiler. They tell you in the first 5 minutes, and that you're right. They just say too many times that they're in the house without saying they're in the house. And once they're like, "This is the house," that does go on way too long. See, you can cut all that shit, and it would be a perfect movie.
That's what I'm saying. Like they could have written it in a way where she's like where she finds out it's the house like the night before he decides to leave, instead of it being like she finds out and then there's like 15 minutes until he decides to leave. It's
Right.
just it's too
I agree.
that gap there is it throws off the pacing of the whole movie. But that being said, it's still a 3 out of 4 for entertainment.
It's the
The
best.
the premise of it is just so simple but so well done, and it kind of ties into the next category, which is scare slash kills. But him sitting down and watching those videos is just impeccable.
It's
And
so good.
I'll allow Natalie to take the reins on the next category.
I gave it a 4 out of 4. I said it is so memorable, and every single one is disturbing. And again, I've seen this movie a million times, and certain videos he watches still like give me goosebumps because they are so scary, and it's just I hate it. And I think the demon is great. I will never say his name. Tyler says it all the time, and it makes me so uncomfortable. I think he's awesome. He's very scary. He's in it just enough where it's like,
Boys in chat, look up the
ugh,
demon and spam its name.
don't say his name. Seriously, I don't want it in my house. But that he's in it just enough that it's good. I hate the ending little. Bleh, I hate that shit. I hate surprise scares for the last movie. Um, yeah, I just love it. It's so good. The lawnmower kill. Ugh.
Yeah, so I saw this movie for the first time in college. I think it was either my junior year or senior year,
Yeah.
and we had like a pregame at our frat house, and everyone else, a bunch of people went out, and then like me and a bunch of other guys like went upstairs to my room to like watch a spooky movie, and I had never seen Sinister before. I don't know what possessed me to put it on, but I was a
He
little
did.
yeah, right. I was a little buzzed, and it actually I remember it actually spooking me a little bit, which is very rare for me. I think it was the setting
And the
of it.
sound mixing, you said the sound mixing is crazy good.
So I was gonna say that
Oh, sorry.
the 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 sound and the music in this movie are what take it to the next level. And becoming a fan of the horror genre has made me realize that sound is like at least 50% of what makes a scene scary, at least 50%. Because even sitting watching this movie for the third or fourth time, whatever it was, it made me realize that if you were to take these exact same scenes, the same exact home videos of kids just walking around a house and killing their family, if if you just put like a generic
Hmm?
soundtrack over it, it would make it so much more boring.
Yeah,
And I don't think people consciously realize how much of a difference sound makes.
right.
The soundtrack in this movie is haunting.
It's
It
so
it
scary.
literally gives me chills on the back of my neck just to think about
Me too. I
the
just moved a
yeah,
little.
the soundtrack, the way they use voices and repetition
And
is so crazy. And just him sitting down in his office and pouring a glass of whiskey and watching these insane videos with crazy music playing. Something about it taps into something very primal and
yeah,
relatable because I'm sitting here. a little buzzed watching a horror movie.
But it's the switch from like the happy in the video to the scary, and then it's like you hear like the camera clicks, like you feel like you're there. I think that's what it is. Like, okay, I am watching this like old, yeah. You feel like you're watching it for the first time with him,
Yeah.
and it's real. It is real in that
and
moment.
and every the first time you watch it is so shocking because like you said
Hmm.
there's this element of surprise and yeah there's something relatable about it because I'm sitting and watching these horror movies
With him for the first time.
right
Oh, so good.
and then it's all tied together with great sound design good direction and you can talk about the next part which is acting.
Yeah.
Ethan Hawke, if you don't know, is one of like the best
He's
actors,
fantastic.
so
He's so good. And so I gave it obviously a 2 out of 2 for production. I think it's written really well. I think the probably what makes it deserve a 1 out of 2, but I would never give it to it, is the cop is the worst. He's not very good. But I love, 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 love the writing of this movie. I love how it goes. I think it's believable. I think it could happen. Um, I think the foreshadowing with the coffee, all sprinkled throughout the movie, is so good because until the very end, you're like, oh fuck, like there was a reason they talked about this. It's just great. It's literally my favorite horror movie. It is so good.
I okay, so I forgot to say for Scare Slash Kills I only gave it a 3 out of 4 because I really hate every time they bring the demon in, it's pretty bad. Like and
I agree.
anytime they show the ghosts of the kids, it's pretty bad. Like the
No,
last
that's wrong.
quarter of the movie is like not really scary and it's mostly just jump scare stuff. Like when they aren't scaring you with the videos, they don't really know how to scare you. And so I had to knock the movie down for that because it's like the least interesting part of the movie I'd say is like the very end and like the stuff with you won't I want to say his name so bad
Don't
but you
say his name.
literally won't let me say it.
I won't. I don't want it in the house. He kept saying it during the movie, and I was like, stop.
It's just such a funny
It's a
name.
good name. It's a good demon name, and he's real. So
Writing and oh and
don't
by
say
the
it.
way
Don't
the
think it.
professor that he talks to is the guy that plays Wilson Fisk in the Daredevil show, so little shout out for those in chat.
Don't know what that means.
But writing and acting, I wanted to give it a 2 out of 2 because Ethan Hawke is so
You
spectacular.
didn't?
I gave it a 1 out of 2
Ah,
because I think, like you said, the cop is really bad.
he's really bad.
The family drama goes on way too long.
No, you
Um,
said that for the first part.
okay, but it's still writing. It's how the movies
I'm
are
just
written.
annoyed at you right now, so it's fine.
I mean, listen, we both know what film is gonna win this bracket. I'm just saying, writing and acting, I can't give it the 2 out of 2 because I really think there are some pretty terrible performances.
Okay.
Um, it's right on the cusp, but that being said, my total score brings me to a 7 out of 10.
Mine's a 9 out of 10.
And I don't hate you for that. So,
I think it deserves it.
um, we both know what's happening next. Let me pull the bracket back up.
Lost the
If
bracket.
it's Orphan versus Sinister, it's kind of a no-brainer here. So let me just go ahead and fill that in. Sorry for those who loved Orphan. It was a fine movie, as we both said,
It
very
was. It was
competent,
great, but it was just up against a better movie.
but
So
it was up against one of the best. One of the best.
it's very good.
So Sinister has has the potential to go very far in this
Oh yeah,
bracket.
I think
Very
so
far.
too. Well, I don't know because our next movie,
So next up, we started another bracket, and we decided to watch Final
Final
Destination
Destination and Freddy
3
3. Oh,
and Freddy 3.
can I start?
Give me a moment. You may absolutely may start, just like every time. Um, just like every time before you've been able to start. Final Destination is a series that like I watched as a kid, kind of in high school, because I wasn't supposed to watch it.
I never had. I watched these for the first time last year.
Okay.
All of them. I'd
The
never seen any of them.
the last one they made was the first R-rated movie that I saw in theaters.
That's so
Went
funny.
with my aunt, um,
Which one?
which my mom's sister,
Oh, okay.
because she's kind of a horror junkie. So yeah, I've rewatched the first and the second. Really just the second and like the fifth a decent amount of times. This movie I hadn't seen in a while. I don't know the last time you saw Final Destination 3, but
Last year
I just
or
say that
2020.
because it kind of took me by surprise. Natalie, I'll let you start us off with the entertainment value.
All right, bro. 4 out of 4. I thought, oh my god, this was the most fun movie we watched in a minute. It was so fun. I think this is the best Final Destination. If you're gonna watch one, this is the one to put on.
Agreed.
It was so fun. Neither of us really wanted to watch a movie this night. Do you remember? We're like, I guess we'll watch this.
Well, because this was, I think, the third movie of the day.
Yes, because we'd gone to the theater and we watched that one earlier. But I was like, whatever. We'll just do this one. It's like short and it'll be fine. And it felt like a 10-minute movie. It was so much fun. It was so good. I loved it. And all the sets were like crazy. Like it was a real movie. Like, fantastic. 4 out of 4. I loved it. It was super fun. Fantastic.
Yeah, this movie, I gave it a 3 out of 4 for entertainment. But categories later will make up for that. It's an insanely entertaining movie. It flies by. It's funny.
Yeah.
It's kind of cheesy and dumb, which is maybe why I didn't give it the 4 out of 4 perfect. But this movie is insanely well made. It had a $25 million budget, and in the box office it made $119 million. That's
Of course it
not
did.
according to inflation. Um, Movies like this do not get made anymore. It
Uh,
is a campy, cheesy early 2000s movie with a huge budget and a massively R rating. And I gave it a 3 out of 4. We can talk about more in this next category.
yeah.
Natalie can kick it off, but
Yeah.
before she does, movies with this level of gore do not get made at this budget level for a mainstream audience anymore. Natalie, take it away.
I gave it a 4 out of 4 for scares and kills. Fantastic. Every single kill was so much better than the last kill, and they were all brutal, dude. Like gross, I keep hitting my microphone. I'm really sorry. Gross and nasty deaths, and they showed all of it. They held nothing back. They're like, yeah, let's show you get this guy's like head shaved off, and I was like, please, give me more of it. Fantastic. I loved it. I never knew. I've seen this movie. Never knew what was coming next. Like it threw me off every single time. Ah, fantastic. I can't talk high enough about this. I'm glad it wasn't up against Sinister because I think it might have won.
Yeah, scare slash kills. I gave it a 4 out of 4. It's a perfect score.
It's awesome.
It's not a scary movie, but this is by far the goriest movie I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
It's all practical effects. There's no CGI in the
Yeah.
deaths, so they all hold up perfect. People like to trash on Saw for being gore porn. But in reality, if you rewatch Saw as an adult, each Saw movie has maybe 3 gory scenes,
Yeah.
and the rest of it is just kind of cringe. Like, you can kind of
Like, oh,
imagine
that
it
would
being
suck.
painful,
Yeah.
but it the Saw movies do not hold a candle to Final Destination 3. And that is insane because Saw movies are trying to be serious movies.
hmm
You know what I mean? They're like dramatic horror movies. This is like a campy slasher
Yeah, this is goofy.
with teen comedy and early 2000s vibes. And it's rated R, but it's made for mainstream audiences, and it's the goriest movie I've ever seen in my
It is
life.
so gross.
I don't think a movie like this will ever get made again.
Which is a
It is
tragedy.
really sad, but I don't think a studio would ever take the risk in 2021 of making a movie this gory in this genre. You know what I mean? Like you don't see Natalie and I were talking about this. You don't see funny gore anymore. We have Deadpool, right? And Deadpool 2, but beyond that, you don't see comedic gory films anymore, for better or for worse. And so this movie 4 out of 4 for kills. It's not
Fantastic.
scary, but
It's
it's
not
just
scary,
so
but it's so
the
good.
and consistently every single kill is insane. Um, uh, uh, I'd highly recommend watching this movie for the kills alone.
Yeah. Oh, it was great. I loved it.
With that being said, do you want to talk about the writing slash acting?
Yeah, I gave it a 2 out of 2. I really did.
Okay.
I did. I thought that the writing set up the kills really, really well. And the kills, they like start setting up the kills like years before you're even like, oh fuck, that's gonna be something. Like the tanning bed scene. Like when she was drinking her cup and set it down, I didn't click that like, oh, that's gonna be like part of the chain reaction. Like it's so great. And like somebody had to sit down and be like, okay, like they're gonna do this and this and this. Like super autistic kid. And I obsessed. Fantastic. It was so, so good. Yeah, I get so if you're keeping score, this is a perfect movie for me.
Okay, so writing and acting, I'd only give it the 1 out of
That's
2,
wrong. That
just
is
because
so
like the
wrong.
the acting is stupid. Like it's cheesy early 2000s acting, which is fun to watch, but and like their dialogue isn't like all that interesting either. But I do think from a writing standpoint, these movies are interesting, just because I mean for those who don't know the premise, a group of people avoid death because of a premonition, and death comes back to kill
Right.
them.
You can't escape death.
And in these films, death is a force. It's something with a conscience that's trying to kill them, and it doesn't kill them with out of nowhere accidents. It kills them by setting up all of these tiny little pieces that people in the world unknowingly contribute to. It's a very interesting Rube Goldberg machine that leads to a death.
I love it.
And those are all set up well in this movie.
Yeah.
They're not like ham-fisted, and so for those reasons, I'd give it the 1 out of 2. Let's catch up with chat.
Wrong.
Chat says that
Wrong.
Mike says people are sensitive.
And
Carla
they
says
said
Natalie is
Natalie's
sensitive, which is just wrong.
I'm a little sensitive, but not with movies.
Mike says that you're fuming from my rating.
I am. That's wrong. I gave this movie a 10 out of 10.
I gave it an 8 out of 10. I think it surprised me a lot. It instantly became my favorite Final Destination and one of my favorite horror movies.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fun horror movie though.
It's fun. It's not like scary, but it's like
not dramatic or scary.
sleepover horror movie.
It's a teen slasher at its best. I mean, what more do you want? It's got the whole amusement park stuff at the beginning. I mean, it's a really fun movie.
It's great.
I could see this movie being great drinking with friends. I could see it being great on a date. I could see it. It's awesome. So
It's
8 out of 10 for me. It's going up against Freddy 3, which I loved my first time watching, and the second time not as much.
We didn't watch it. Yeah.
But that, we got to talk about it. I love Freddy. I think he's the best
I do too.
horror villain. Hold on, Mike said, yeah, if I ever want to put on a Final Destination movie, it'd be the third
it's the
one.
best one.
It's the best one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, back to Freddy. Freddy, I think, is the best horror icon. He has the best rules, the scariest concept.
Sam.
Sam is fine, but I mean, the idea of not being able to go to sleep, something that everyone has to do, and you do it at nighttime. I mean, it just has so much going for it in terms of Freddy, and we had to put a Freddy movie on this list. Freddy 3 is one of my favorites of the series, maybe my favorite. Natalie, do you want to talk about the entertainment value?
I will. I only gave it a 2 out of 4. The first time we watched it was not that long ago, probably a couple months. And it was really good. I really enjoyed watching it that first time, and the second time, asleep. It was not interesting. We were both on our phones for most of it because we had just seen it, and the dialogue is boring. I didn't care. Yeah,
that's okay.
The only reason it got a 2 is because the first time we watched it, I really enjoyed it.
That's pretty much what I said too. I think if you've never seen this movie, you're gonna really enjoy it because it is. It's pretty self-aware. This movie really does the campiness well, where it's not taking itself too seriously.
Yeah.
And it's funny, and it's got some great moments in it. But yeah, if you've seen it before, especially if you've seen it recently, it's just not all that interesting.
No.
I'd give it the 2 out of 4 because I respect it, and
That's it. Yeah.
I think it is probably the best of the series.
I think so too. Because the first one's pretty good.
The first one might be better,
but
they're good for different
kind
reasons.
Of good.
Yeah. They're good for different reasons. So, entertainment, I'd also give the 2 out of 4. What did you think about scares?
I give it a 3 out of 4 for scares and kills, just because there are so many good ones with the practical effects. The puppeteer is incredible. It makes you cringe. It's gross. The TV one is really, really good, and just everything he does, his fingers are needles there when he turns into that gross snake. I keep hitting the microphone, I'm sorry, but it's just great. I just think the practical effects are really, really good, so I gave it a 3 out of 4. And he's scary. Is this new? Can I have a drink of this? He's just a scary guy. I like it. 3 out of 4.
Yeah, I'd give it. I like that you gave it a 3 out of 4. I thought I was going to give it a 3 out of 4. Yeah. I only gave it the 2 though, because I think
Gross.
I don't know. There's a couple great kills in it, but not as many as I'd like, and there's a couple kind of weak kills in it.
Oh, totally. That is a weak kill.
Yeah, it might deserve a 3, but I'd only give it the 2 out of 4. And it's not really scary either. That's the thing. Is this movie's trying to be kind of more. I mean, I don't know. If a kid saw this, it'd probably scare them. I saw this movie as a kid, and those 2 kills really, really stuck with me.
Yeah, they're horrifying.
Yeah, the TV kill and the puppeteer kill like were burned into my memory.
Mhm.
So I'd give it the 2 out of 4. Maybe it deserves a 3, but we both know that it's not really going to impact this bracket. So
Oh.
let's just move on to writing slash acting.
I gave it a 0. I really did. I thought it was boring. It wasn't written well. I hate when like all the kids were like in their mid to late 20s, and then Nancy, who is supposed to be like 30, looks like she's like 17, and I hated that. It throws it off really weird. I hate the nurse. Like, why wouldn't you believe them? Like, I don't understand. They're all saying the same thing and you don't believe them. It was just annoying. So I gave it a 0 out of 2.
Yeah, I don't know. I gave it the 1 out of 2 just because I thought it was average. Um, and I like the premise of it a lot. I like the
Yeah,
idea of
definitely.
like the ragtag group of kids that like basically learn to like control their
Yeah,
dreams
they're
a little bit more,
manipulating
and so they
everything.
kind of become like little superheroes in their dreams, and then they all team up to fight
Yeah,
Freddy.
I mean, it's cute,
It's
but
that's what makes this movie for me is kind of that premise. So I gave it the 1 out of 2, but that brings my total score to a 5 out of 10.
that's what mine is.
So obviously going up against Final Destination 3, we have a clear
We
winner.
do.
A clear, and I somehow keep.
keep getting rid of the bracket. Stop doing that.
Okay, well, crucify
You
me.
see my ghost in the back?
We wanted to light him
What
up,
the?
but he was too
He
bright.
blinds himself.
He blinds the camera. Okay. So Final Destination 3 is the clear
It's
winner,
the clear
which
winner.
we have our first
I
round 2
know,
set up.
but
The Visit versus Final
oh no,
Destination
I wonder
3.
what it's gonna
I
be.
wonder what it's gonna be. So we will be revisiting. So these brackets we'll be talking about in episode number 5
Hmm.
once we finally get there. Okay. So that was it for that bracket. We have one more. Believe it or not, we've got one more bracket to talk about tonight.
Yeah.
Wow, you sound so excited about it.
Because I am excited to talk about this next movie, but not the one after that.
Okay. The next movie was what? Killer
Killer
Clowns.
Clowns from Outer Space.
Neither of us had ever seen this movie. It is from 1988. This movie had, according to adjusting for inflation, this movie cost $4.6 million to make. Natalie, go ahead and take it away for entertainment.
I fucking loved this movie. It was like I was not expecting to care about it. Was like whatever. I had just heard about it. Universal in Florida, they do Halloween Horror Nights, and Killer Clowns is like always one of the houses they have. And I'm like, well, fuck. Like I want to know what this is all about. And so for entertainment, I gave it a 4 out of 4. I thought it was
Oh
yeah,
my God.
dude. I thought it was so
But you were on
fucking
your
fun.
phone.
A little, but not a lot. I this is my scoring. Bye.
Hey, I'm
4 to
allowed to
4.
talk about your scoring though.
4 to 4. I said it was such a fun movie. I loved it so much. The sets were super fun. Like it was in this little town, and like everything was. I love this movie. Have you seen this movie? If you haven't, you can't talk.
There's no chance Carlos has seen this
It
movie.
was so fun. The clowns were hilarious. They like their little beep boop 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 talks. Loved them. Loved them so much. 4 to 4. I thought it was so good. So good.
I liked it more than I thought it would. I thought this movie
It
was
was
gonna
so
be.
fun.
I said when the movie started, I think this movie's gonna be dog shit. It wasn't dog shit. I mean, it's got really bad like 80s acting, and it's obviously a dated old movie, but um, it's entertaining. I'll
It
give it that.
is.
It's an entertaining movie. The all of the like props and premises are well done, well executed production design. There are a lot of fun little surprises of like typical clown things that are turned into like
Scary
deadly
things.
things.
Yeah.
This movie I wouldn't say is scary,
No.
but it's fun to watch because of you can tell that they had budget and someone that actually cared about making this movie. And it's stupid, but it's definitely a movie to get blazed before you
Oh,
see.
totally.
Whereas Final Destination is like a good drinking movie, this is a good smoking movie. This is a movie I would definitely. Anyway, I gave it a 2 out of 4. You probably think that's
That's too low.
too low, but
Mhm.
For a movie that's this old and looks like this, I mean, everyone's
Yeah.
looking at the same screen here. I think a 2 out of 4 is just fine. So that's where I put it. Natalie, do you want to talk about scares
Yeah, I
slash
gave
kills?
it a 3 out of 4 because I thought it was so creative. Like you were saying, like it's so funny how they took like normal clown things, circus things, and made them into like gross, like cotton candy liquefies humans. Loved that. Loved how he took his little stupid crazy straw and just took a sip of someone. That's fucking incredible. Acid pies.
The dog.
The dog.
He makes a balloon animal into a dog, and then it
And
turns
it's a
into a real
watchdog.
dog to smell out where they
It
are.
was so funny. I loved it. I loved it. It's embarrassing how much I really enjoyed this movie, I think. So 3 out of 4 for scares and kills. It was great.
I give it a 2 out of 4. Not scary.
It's
The
not
kills the
scary.
kills weren't interesting. I mean, we're kind of this idea of the production. I wasn't sure where to put it. I'd give it the 2 out of 4, which I still think is pretty high for a movie like this. But
Stop saying a movie like this.
I
It
mean,
was a great movie.
okay, but it's tough because when you look at it through the lens of a 1988 movie, it's great. If you look at it through the lens of 2021, there's only so much you can say about it. So I'm conflicted on it. Regardless, I'd give it the 2 out of 4. What did you think about writing and acting?
I only gave it a 1 out of 2 for writing and acting. I hated the one cop. That was just not believable. And I said
The
it's
the chief cop,
huh? Yes.
like the
Who
chief.
like people were calling 911 and he was just like, "Yeah, fuck you guys." Like
It's kind of funny.
what the fuck? I said it was very predictable and very 80s. Of course, that's what it is. But it's the most fun I've had in such a long time with a movie. I really loved it. There were lots of like jaw-dropping moments I had no idea were coming. I thought it was great. I thought it was so creative and out there that it was fantastic. And then I did say bonus points for the theme song.
Yeah,
It
fun theme
had
song.
an
It had its
awesome theme
own.
song.
It had its own song by the Dickies.
My favorite line was some make you laugh, some make you cry. These clowns only gonna make you die. Come on. Come on.
I wish I could play it,
That's fucking incredible. It's
but
great.
I'd get copyrighted by the Dickies.
It's so good.
Writing and acting, it gave a 2 out of 2. No, I'm just kidding. I gave
I
it.
was like, what the fuck?
I'm just kidding. I gave it a 1 out of 2. It was fine. Yeah, like you said, it's serviceable. I total score 5 out of 10. You gave it higher.
I gave it an 8 out of 10,
8 out of
dude.
10 is crazy. That's crazy,
I
dude.
loved this movie. I really did.
I mean, yeah, it was. Listen, it was decent. I'm not gonna say it wasn't. It definitely exceeded my expectations. But I
The
mean,
little clown's not there. He was the best.
all right. Oh, hey, Jimmy, you're a
Hi,
little bit late.
Jimmy.
We have one more movie to talk about. So be sure to check out the earlier
The
stuff. Killer
Vog.
Clown Slaps, he says. Yeah, it was good. It
It's
surprised
so
us. We
good.
just finished talking about it. Natalie gave it an 8 out of 10. I gave it a 5, but it probably deserves a 6. I'll just say that. It probably deserves a 6 out of 10. I'll throw a 1 in there somewhere arbitrarily. Maybe
Entertainment.
fine, in entertainment, I'll bump it up to a 3. How's
It
that?
deserves that.
Um, the next movie, so just like we wanted to include a film from the Freddy universe, we wanted to include a film from the Jason universe. Now again, similar issue happened here where we kind of just watched this movie, and
That's not true.
it was pretty recent, and we watched it. Oh, geez, it
A
was
year
a year
ago.
ago. Wow,
Almost to the day.
almost to the day a year ago. And you know what? As I put this on, I realized we probably should have selected a Jason movie we haven't seen yet, because this is one of the only ones we have seen. But that's why
I
I kind of
just
put it on because
don't
I knew it
love
was
Jason
decent.
movies.
The first time I watched it, I liked it more. Very similar to Freddy. We're gonna have a very similar conversation here.
Yeah. So
Go
I'll
ahead.
just start. I just read the Killer Clowns lyric again. So fucking good,
It really
dude.
made you laugh, huh?
It really stuck with me. For entertainment, I put a 2 out of 4. I said it's good, and you care about the characters, which is interesting. Usually, you don't in horror movies, and I thought the characters were great.
Yeah, it's a decent. There's decent like teen drama stuff that's
Yeah.
like actually kind of well written.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
it's all based on
like
sex, but
I don't think like the teen part was the boring part, which is like rare. It's usually like the dialogue and not the scary
yeah.
stuff. I put it gets kind of sleepy, and I hate the end of this movie. I think it's fucking stupid.
Oh my God, the end is like the best part.
I hate it. So 2 out of 4.
I also gave it a 2 out of 4. So I guess I have nothing else to really say. It again, it's one of those things where if you've never seen this movie before, it's gonna be more entertaining the first time, and then it really loses. There's a steep drop off in
Yeah.
that charm factor
Yeah.
because it is so dated and slow. Um, Whereas like the first time I watched this, I probably would have given it a 3 out of 4, and then rewatching it a year later, it dropped down to the 2. I just didn't really care. I knew everything that was gonna happen.
Mhm.
I just kept thinking, man, I wish we put on like the sixth one or the third one, which I hear are also good movies. Um,
No, we should have done the first one.
the first one, whatever.
It's a snooze, but
So yeah, 2 out of 4. Do you
Mhm.
want to talk about the scare slash
yeah,
kills?
I gave it a 3 out of 4 because I thought they were all fine. I thought they were all pretty good. Excuse me. The shower, Skull Crush, crazy. It's so crazy and it's so unexpected. Even though like I knew it was coming, it's just brutal. And then the corkscrew. I just love that guy. So that was like the best.
Where's
Where's
corkscrew?
corkscrew?
You know what? I really thought that this was gonna be higher for me, but I only gave it a 2 out of 4 because there's really
Oh,
only two good kills in this movie.
which two?
It's the kill right near the beginning where he flips that guy's head around,
Oh,
and there's the
yeah.
kill in the shower where he crushes his
That is
skull.
so nasty.
Beyond those two, every other kill is just someone getting stabbed through their body.
Not true. He threw that girl out the window.
Yeah, but she doesn't die, and
Yes, she does.
no, when he
She hits the car.
yeah, and she rolls off and runs. Oh, did she die
She
there?
dies.
I mean, okay, that was fine. I mean, it was fun. The car explodes a little, but beyond that, most of the kills in this movie are just like
Oh,
knife
it's
through a
a
body.
slasher movie.
Yeah, but I'm saying, especially in this series, Friday the 13th. I mean, they're kind of. I mean, this movie was known for being like the movie that parents wanted to ban because it was just this was kind of the first
Sex and
series that was
murder.
just about sex and murder and
Oh,
how much could you step up the stakes for like a gory movie.
yeah.
Looking back on them, obviously we've surpassed it crazy, Final
Final
Destination 3.
Destination.
But it's if you go into this movie expecting great kills, you're only going to get 2 maybe 3 moments
Yeah, no,
out of the entire
definitely.
movie. So I gave it a 2 out of 4, and that was the most disappointing part. I really wanted this movie to have better kills.
Yeah. So then for production, I gave it a 1 out of 2. I said it was just fine. And I really hate old men writing teen dialogue. It's never good, it's never realistic. Girls don't show up with no shirts on and then fuck every single guy at the party. I just hated it. I hate teen schlock. It's not what I like. But I love, love, love the dad from Back to the Future. Back to the Future 3. 2? Love him. Love his dance scene. Love everything he does. He's my favorite. He's not a dead fuck.
Yeah, the he's the best part
He is.
of like the writing slash acting category. I'd
Mhm.
give it the 1 out of 2. Like you said, the teen stuff is fun. It's the best part of the movie. Um, you telling me girls
They
don't do that?
don't.
Yeah, it was just fine. So that brings my total score to a 5 out of 10. I don't know what
Mine
puts
is a
yours at.
6 out of 10. So I did one higher than you for the
So
kills.
what did you get? You gave Killer Clowns an 8.
An
So
8 out
you
of
have a
10.
clear winner.
It's Killer
And
Clowns.
honestly, originally I had them both at a 5, but I think Killer Clowns deserves a
I
6.
love
I
Killer
mean,
Clowns.
it's a shame because what we're doing right now is we're eliminating both Freddy and Jason from the October bracket,
And
which
I
is pretty
but
devastating.
they deserve it.
Um,
Sorry.
I have to agree with you. I think Killer Clowns takes it this round. Um,
Maybe Michael. What's Michael up against? Go down.
Halloween. Oh, Halloween is up against
Oh,
Texas Chainsaw, which
I don't really like Texas Chainsaw, so I
so I
think
guess
that
we'll see how that shakes out. But
it's
honestly, the
the
Halloween
2021
series
version.
kind of sucks. So I don't think this 2021 is gonna be any better.
That's so exciting. Our bracket's really coming together.
Yeah. So that's it for this week. We'll be starting a new bracket tonight. If all goes well. Um, yeah. What was your favorite movie of the ones we discussed
The
today?
ones we discussed today, it's either Killer Clowns, fucking love Killer Clowns, or it's Final Destination 3.
Not Sinister, huh? Not even a
No,
mention of Sinister.
I know it's really sad. I think because I have seen Sinister so many times that it was fun to watch these two. Sinister is still the best movie, but
Okay.
enjoying those two. What was yours?
My personal favorite of these is Sinister, just because I
It's
think
so
it's the
good.
best like actually spooky movie.
Yeah.
But Final Destination 3 was like a huge surprise.
Yeah, it really
it
took me by surprise.
I was surprised how much I liked it. So yeah, everybody, thank you for watching.
Well,
Um,
let's pick what we're gonna watch.
Feel free to like and subscribe. We will be uploading these audio segments to Spotify as well. Um, so keep on the lookout for that on all audio platforms. It's going to be coming out. Natalie, do you want me to switch the screen over so that you can? What would you like to start
I
tonight?
really want to do One Missed Call because you haven't seen it, but you want to wait for American Psycho to get here, which is sad.
We can just do it if you'd like.
I really
It's not
would
going to
like
bother
to,
me too much.
because I mean, we could do the Cave and Creepshow 1 and 2, but then we have to watch Creepshow 1 and 2 tomorrow.
Well, you can pick. I'll
What's
allow you to
tomorrow?
pick.
Thursday? I open tomorrow. So let's do the Cave tonight and we'll do Creepshow 1 and 2 tomorrow.
All right. Everybody, thank you for joining. Carlos needs to rewatch Sinister. Jimmy
You should
definitely says
rewatch it.
Sinister. It's his favorite of the night. Thank you for joining us, and stay tuned for the next episode of Movies with GRose October Horror Bracket with Natalie.
Yay.
Bye bye.
Bye.